KFI AM 640. It's later with Mo Kelly. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And we're having some internet issues in the station, so our YouTube show will be up in just a moment. But that's probably the reason why you cannot see the show on YouTube at this moment. But it will be up momentarily. Had a huge weekend. Hung out with Tuala and Stefan. We went to see Thunderbolts. Me, it was the second time, I think. Tuala was the eighth time. Stefan is actually out today. We're joined on the board on the ones and twos by the sex doctor himself, Mr. Sam Zia. How you doing, brother?
Oh, great. Thank you for having me. It's good to be back.
Absolutely. And Tuala, how many times have you seen Thunderbolts as of yet?
Yeah, just 2 times.
Just 2? Okay. I thought it was more than that.
No, I'll be seeing it again because I was really emotionally connected to the film. I dug it like that.
Emotionally connected to the Marvel movie. I don't think I've ever had an emotional connection.
What? You watch these movies and stories and don't make any emotional connections?
Entertainment. It wasn't like I was going to cry when Tony Stark died or anything like that.
What type of callous?
It's just entertainment.
Dude, I shed real tears when Tony died.
Oh, my goodness.
Real tears.
Well, we'll talk about Thunderbolts, which did come in as the #1 movie of the week. We'll talk about that at the top of the third hour. Next segment, I'll be joined on the show by Joe Kwon of Spectrum News. There's news that 4,000 gallons of sewage has shut down portions of Orange County beaches. Joe Kwon, we talked about last week how she surfs just about every day. Matt Buddy Smith surfs just about every day in the Orange County area. I'm curious to find out whether this sewage spill is going to impact her surfing, whether toxic algae means anything to her or Matt Money Smith, and how she navigates, no pun intended, these dirty beaches every single day up and down the California coast.
The filth.
It's no exaggeration. It's some of the filthiest coastline in America. And did you know that not only is there a new musical about alleged CEO killer Luigi Mangione, but it's sold out and it's going to premiere in San Francisco. What the hell is wrong with this nation? Or maybe just San Francisco. But there's something wrong with us to think you should even create a musical. That's #1. And #2, it's already popular so much so that it sells out. There is something really wrong with us as Americans. And also, we'll find out the best and the worst states in which to be a law enforcement officer. The best and the worst states to be a law enforcement officer. That will close out hour 1. Then hour 2, we got to see about this intersection between politics and sports again. Did you hear President Trump? He announced that the 2027 NFL draft will be in Washington, D.C. on the National Mall. So you can't extricate politics from sports anymore because he announced it from the Oval Office. We'll definitely get into that. And I don't know, Tuala, did you hear the remarks from former Boston Celtics forward and former Inglewood High graduate and Naismith Basketball Hall of Famer Paul Pierce talking about marriage?
Yeah.
He's the wrong person to ever put a microphone in front of. He had a lot to say about marriage, and none of it is good. There's some people you should never take advice from. There's some people you should never take relationship advice from. There's some people you shouldn't take gardening advice from or child rearing advice. Paul Pierce fits all those categories. Don't take any advice from him, but we have to talk about his outsized influence on people. You know, his opinion matters in as much that everyone's heard it. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone is criticizing him for it, but still outsized influence. We'll talk about that. And if you know me personally, you know I swear by Skechers. Swear by it. I have at least 12 to 13 pairs of Skechers shoes in my closet right now. And when I buy another 3 or 4, they will be Skechers. It's Skechers and Nike, but mostly Skechers. And you can laugh at me all you want. I love Skechers. I'm wearing Skechers right now. I was wearing Skechers yesterday, and I'll be wearing Skechers tomorrow. I mention that because the company just was purchased, or I should say all the stock was purchased so it could be a private company going forward.
Really?
Yep. They're taking it private.
I love
taking it private. So it'll be interesting to see how that is going to impact the future of the company, which means it's going to impact me because I still have at least 3 or 4 gift cards.
Are you a Skechers member?
Oh, yeah.
I'm a Skechers member.
Yeah,
Okay. I just want to make sure that you got your membership.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, every time I go in there, they say, do you have a membership? Yes, I do. So I get discounts and stuff. And
I used to carry my card with me.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I don't carry it. And for a horoscope, which cat breed are you based on your zodiac sign? Now, this is very important because I'm not a cat person. Sam, you're a cat person, aren't you?
No, I'm a dog person.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much. I threw that out there doing good and well. Marley would not appreciate me saying that.
No, I got Marley and Ziggy, both of them.
All
would
right.
not be happy at all.
And joining us instead of Mark Ronner, who is tending to some business, is Eileen Gonzalez. Eileen, it's very nice to finally work with you. I don't think we worked with each other before.
Yeah, nice to be here. I think we worked together once. Did we work together when the fires broke out?
Maybe. Because we were here for like 5 to 6 hours at a time, so there might have been some overlap.
Yeah, I think that's the last time I saw you here.
Since I have you on the mic, are you a cat or dog person?
I'm both. I have a dog and a cat.
How is that possible?
And they're best friends. They love each other.
Is that possible?
It's possible.
Were they raised together?
I got the cat first, and I had him for about 2 months, and then I got the dog as a puppy. And they
basically
best
don't know.
friends.
Yeah, they don't know life without each other.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
a beautiful story. I'm a dog guy all the way through.
And my cat's named Ziggy.
Wait a minute.
We have
What?
Wait a minute.
Ziggies.
Sam, wait a minute. Eileen has a cat named Ziggy, and you have a dog named Ziggy and Marley.
Yeah.
Yeah, but mine is Ziggy Stardust. It's another Ziggy.
Mine is named after, obviously, the Marleys.
The Marleys. Okay.
They had dreadlocks when we first got them. We got them.
Wait,
out
what?
Whoa.
Wait. You can explain that one.
Yeah, no, they were a rescue dog. Marley was a rescue dog, and he was matted, completely dirty. This was back when they had the kill shelters. This was his last day. We rescued him, and we thought he had like a different actual, like his fur color was different. We washed him and it was like, gray and white. But we had already named him Marley.
Oh,
nice.
You thought it was a black dog, didn't you?
Well, yeah, he had dreadlocks. He was ready to go. But we washed him up, gave him a haircut, and he's still Marley. He loves that name.
Oh, that is a wonderful, wonderful story. We have that and so much more. In hour number 3, we have to talk about jury selection in the Diddy case, which begun today. And also Lady Gaga. Did you hear the story about there was this, I'll say not attempted bombing, but there was a planned bombing of one of her concerts. And I think we have some insight because in producing concerts, there are always those concerns. And maybe we can give you some behind the scenes of what goes into planning some of those large scale concerts. It's later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. When we come back, we'll be checking in with Joe Kwon and talking about this 4,000-gallon sewage spill, which has shut down portions of Orange County beaches.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI AM 640. It's later with Mo Kelly, live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app, and we're still working on the YouTube feed. It will be up in just a moment, just like you're accustomed to seeing it. But joining me right now is Joe Kwon. You know her, of course, from KFI, but also Spectrum News. Joe Kwon, it's great to talk to you. How are you?
I am good. Just, planning my surf for tomorrow.
You are planning your surf for tomorrow, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to reach out to you. Last week, I was asking you informally on text message, did the toxic algae bloom impact you in any way, or at least your decision making? You told me privately, no, you're going to be out there surfing. Well, tonight, we know about this 4,000-gallon sewage spill, which has shut down portions of Huntington Beach and Newport Beach, and it's been closed since Saturday. Do these headlines impact you personally or surfing-wise, anything?
No, they don't impact my decision. Like, I go every morning at dawn patrol, which is when the sun is rising and you go and, it's a little bit less crowded. And sometimes, that is close-ish to some of the spots that I like to go to. But anytime it rains, anytime there's a little bit of sprinkles, they tell you don't go in the water for 72 hours. But I know I don't really heed those warnings. If the water noticeably looks a little brown, gray, I perhaps might wait a day, but typically not really. And sewage spills, sure. Obviously, the beaches are closed, and you know when it's at the end of a river jetty. So I guess you would say the most southern edge of that sewage spill, at least, however they do that when it goes out in the water, it floats out, is at the end of also a river jetty, which is not where I typically surf because that's where runoff also goes. And yeah, I mean, if it's in a spot that I go to every morning, then I might think about perhaps picking another spot.
I don't surf, and there are people who may not surf or know some of the ins and outs. You made mention of if it rains, you may wait a certain amount of time. Why is that?
So they tell you to wait 72 hours because the runoff can bring in chemicals, gas, just stuff on the street into the ocean. I know I've gone surfing before after it rains. There's a particular spot in Seal Beach where it just looks like a landfill after it rains. The San Gabriel River brings in, there was one day, and I have to say that sometimes surfers are a stupid species, but we just go because we love it and we ignore all the other things. But there were bowling balls, mattresses, shoes, just a trash pile in the water. I didn't know that bowling balls can float until that day. So, you just kind of, when you catch a wave, you sort of maneuver around the things in the water. It just brings a lot of junk in the water, plastic bags, straws, bottle caps. One time I found high heels of what you would call a stripper heel.
Were they clear?
I suppose. That was one of the most interesting things I've seen in the water. Yeah, so after it rains, you typically don't because it can bring in some stuff that can get in your ears and your nose and give you some bad stuff.
You're not only part of the surfer species, you're a part of the news species. And I say that because not only are you aware of the news, you're covering the news. You cover the news about toxic algae. You cover the news about these sewage spills. You've covered the news about the domoic acid as well. How does that figure into maybe what you tell other surfers or how you conduct yourself?
Okay, listen, a lot of times let's say, for example, you, I'm sure, have heard about the domoic acid poisonings, a lot of sea lions stranding on the beaches, dolphins dying, birds dying, getting sick. I ask questions and do stories and ask researchers and veterinarians. A researcher down in Scripps Institution of Oceanography is looking at domoic acid and kind of hoping to find different molecular clues in the water to say a bloom is about to happen before it actually happens. And of course, the number one question, as just a normal person, you don't have to be a reporter, you don't have to be a surfer, you see it on the beaches that we enjoy. Can it affect us? She said it's very rare. So it's this thing called Pseudonychia. It is an algal bloom that produces the neurotoxin that's getting all these sea animals sick. And she said the only way a human can get sick is if you eat one of the shellfish that is filled with this Pseudonychia stuff. And, immediately after a bloom, they do give out warnings of don't eat the shellfish, the mussels and all those things in the water. So knowing that, I guess I go in armed with information just by the nature of my being a reporter, and also just being naturally curious and asking those questions. And if it was bad where they said, yeah, you could get yada yada, I might think about not going, but it hasn't happened yet.
Joe Kwon, you are an early riser. I am not. For those who are just tuning in, Joe Kwon of Spectrum News and also KFI joins us as we talk about toxic algae, the recent 4,000 gallons of sewage spill up and down portions of Orange County beaches. Joe, when you get up in the morning, what time are we talking about?
Typically, I'm up about 5:30 in the morning. I try to get out of the house by just before 6 or right around 6 and in the water by about 6:30 a.m. But there are early risers. I know, Matt Money Smith. I pretty much see him every morning. We surf together with a crew
you took
of
my
people.
next question. Go ahead.
And he's out there at, before 6 often. So we call that Vampire Patrol because it's dark.
What type of workout is it for you? I see you often post like maybe how many hours you're out there, how many calories you burned. What's the physicality of it?
It depends. You know, if you're paddling hard and you're getting longer waves, of course, you're paddling back to what's called the lineup. So it's past that sort of whitewash sort of area, a little bit further out. So every time you catch one in, you got to paddle back out. So it really depends on how soft the waves are. Then you got to paddle really hard to get into them. If they're a little bit steeper, then you don't have to paddle as hard to get into them, but you have to paddle hard to get out back to the lineup. And, you know, in an hour, I'm doing at least an hour every morning, and it ranges from like 400, 500 calories. It just depends on how hard you're working out. And sometimes, you know, the waves are small and they're few and far between, and it's just about being out in the water, in the cold water, and hanging out, and I don't know, 300, 400 calories.
Joe Kwon, my last question. I often talk about how I try to stay my ass out of the water as I get older because I don't want things touching me. I don't want things brushing up against me. I don't want things biting me. I don't want things stinging me.
Yeah.
So tell me, number one, have you encountered a shark ever? That's number one. And number two,
Okay.
Have you ever stepped on a stingray? You've been stung by jellyfish? Tell me all the horror stories.
Yes.
Whoa, slow down. So yes to shark.
I've seen sharks. Southern California is, again, just because of the stories I do, which are a lot of beach environment type of stories. You know, I'm talking Chris Lowe at the Shark Lab at Cal State Long Beach. You know, this is an area where juvenile white sharks, the babies, are growing up. This is a nursing area for them.
Babies mean
There's
parents.
Also, yes. And then there's some nurse sharks or leopard sharks, I'm not exactly sure, up in Venice Beach that I've seen by my foot. You know, not too worried about that.
Okay,
I'm
jellyfish.
gonna move on to that because I'm already freaking you out. But jellyfish, I was stung by something one time last summer. I don't know what it was.
That makes it
but
worse.
The doctor suspected it was some sort of stingray family. And yes, stingrays it's kind of like street cred for surfers, I guess. I've been stung twice on the right foot. Same foot, different times. There's an area in Seal Beach at the jetty that is full of stingrays. I mean, I remember last summer the waves are good. You just go. It doesn't matter. And
Or just not go.
You're sharing with hundreds of stingrays, and as you're riding a wave, you can see the little wings of the stingray going along with you. A ton of them. I'm not talking about one or two. There would be maybe 10, 15 surrounding you. You just learn how to land either on your board at the end of the wave, or you make your body like a starfish and you spread out so you sort of splash on top of the water and not touch the ground. So there are precautions you can take to avoid getting stung, but it happens.
Joe Kwon?
I'm not helping the case for you to get in the water ever.
Jellyfish, stingray, and sharks, oh my. That's what you're telling me.
Indeed.
Joe Kwon, thank you for making
if you're
sure.
on a surfboard, you're not touching those things, so you're all right.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You already told me you've seen sharks, you've been stung by jellyfish and stingrays. Thank you. You just sealed the deal. Joe Kwon, Spectrum News, thank you for all your expertise and coming on under short notice. And I will say, you and Matt
problem.
Money Smith, be very safe out there because I'm not coming to save you.
We will. Thanks, Mo.
Bye, Joe Kwon. It's Later with Mo Kelly. Our YouTube show is up and running right now. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI, Later with Mo Kelly. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app and on YouTube. Let me tell you about this musical. It's sold out and it's crazy sounding, but if you look deeper, you see what they're trying to do. I don't know if they're going to be successful. You know, some things are just too wild to consider, but check this out. Luigi the Musical, as in the alleged CEO killer Luigi Mangione. Luigi the Musical will premiere on Friday the 13th in San Francisco, June 13th, that is. And according to the musical's creators, all 5 scheduled shows at the Taylor Street Theater have already been sold out. Now, I don't know how large the Taylor Street Theater is, but it is worth mentioning. We're talking about shows which are more than a month away, and they're already sold out. The story, as it reads, is about Luigi Mangione, Sam Bankman-Fried, and Sean Diddy Combs allegedly sharing a prison cell. Okay, but here is where it gets interesting. When I say interesting, you see what they're trying to do. If you didn't know, all 3 were incarcerated at the same facility at one time. I don't know if it was simultaneous or they happened to come through the facility, but at different times. But they were at the same prison facility, or at least passed through. And the 3 main characters, according to the creators, represent major industries in society: healthcare, tech, and Hollywood. I get where they're going with this. I don't know if they should go there. I just don't know.
The idea of making a killer, a murderer, someone who murdered someone alleged, yes, because he pled innocent, even though, okay, allegedly he walked up right behind this man and allegedly shot him in the video. Alleged name of whatever righteous indignation he's going through in his mind. Sure, you cannot turn these individuals into stars.
I agree.
You cannot make criminality. You cannot make the idea of this, guilty or not, turning it into a sold out play makes a hero out of someone like this.
Well, let's be fair. He was already considered a hero by some prior to now. Now you're just profiting off that.
Of it. Yeah.
I don't know the legality behind this. I don't know if you can use Luigi Mangione. He's not, quote unquote, a public figure in the way that Diddy Combs is.
Well, this isn't, from all accounts and reading what it's about, this isn't satirical. So it's not a satire, and they are using elements of the alleged account of what happened to tell this story.
And profit off it, let's be clear.
And profit off of it.
They're selling tickets.
So there has to be some buy-in from Mangione, or at least his family. I believe probably from him, because when you listen to some of the things that he has put out there, he's embracing this celebrity.
Oh, he's definitely embracing it. I just don't know if legally all the I's have been dotted and the T's have been crossed. Here's the backstory, just in case you may not remember. Mangione, 26-year-old college student, and he was charged with murder, first-degree murder, in the death of Brian Thompson, then CEO of United Healthcare. And Sam Bankman-Fried was a founder of FTX, the cryptocurrency exchange platform. Last year, he was sentenced to 25 years in prison for fraud, stealing over $11 billion. And Sean P. Diddy Combs, we've covered him, and we'll talk about him later on tonight as the jury is being selected in his trial. He's facing federal sex trafficking and racketeering charges after he allegedly physically and sexually abused victims for over a decade. I think this would be a better documentary more than anything, as opposed to a play, a satirical, farcical, whatever they're trying to do, and selling tickets to it and make a profit over it. It just feels dirty. That's the only way I can describe it. It feels like, you know what, we shouldn't be doing this. It's not like we're talking about, let's say, Charles Manson and the Night Stalker and one other controversial killer or something, Ted Bundy.
Even then, those characters and what came in the wake of their infamy is still reels with us now. You and I are still, within the generation of the Night Stalker, and those stories still haunt us. I get that they're saying that this is not to glorify any sort of act or of violence or to pass judgment on the legal case, nor is it to condone sexual assault or pedophilia in any form. But but you are profiting off of it, and they say it's to ask societal questions like, why Mangione has become a kind of folk hero in certain corners of the internet.
That's an editorial on a print website.
That's not a sold out play.
It's not a musical. You know, and then I think you are diminishing the severity of the alleged crimes when you're putting it to music. It makes it very difficult for me to take it seriously on any level because you have diminished the value, in my estimation, of Brian Thompson's life, and you've diminished the severity of the crimes when you're setting it to music. This is not even a dramatization.
Not only that, I have not read a single thread of evidence that shows any of the profits of this goes to victims of murder, sexual assault, or pedophilia. This is them just profiting. No money is going to any just cause that stands against what these individuals are accused of. So that also is weird.
When we come back, we're going to go to the other side of the legal ledger. We're going to talk about being a law enforcement officer here in America. You may wonder, or at least I did, what would be some of the better states or worse states for law enforcement officers? We have a list. We'll see if you agree. We'll find out. And also Carnicia is monitoring the chat. We'll find out what you think about this list in just a moment. It's later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640 live everywhere on YouTube and the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Later with Mo Kelly on KFI AM 640.
We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, and we're live on YouTube right now. It's Later with Mo Kelly. Wallet Hub compared the 50 states and the District of Columbia across 3 key indicators of police friendliness. And the data set ranges from the median income for law enforcement officers to police deaths per 1,000 officers to state and local police protection expenses per capita. We're talking about the best states and the worst states for LEOs, law enforcement officers. Some states make protecting and serving the public in a law enforcement career more appealing than others. The best states for police officers, according to Wallet Hub, offer competitive compensation supplemented by solid training that helps minimize the chances of deadly violence between officers and civilians. So this is according to Wallet Hub. We're going to give you the 10 worst locations according to their data, and then we will do the 10 best locations. So now we're just going to read very quickly. And there are 51 options here because it's the 50 states plus Washington, D.C. So coming in at number 40, Mississippi. No surprise there. There's nothing good going on in Mississippi. Number 41, Kansas. Number 42, Vermont. Number 43, Montana. Sounds about right. Moving our way down the list. Number 44, Oregon. Yeah, probably. Number 45. You're going to see a trend from here on out. Number 45 is West Virginia. Number 46. Alabama. Keith Jackson. Football. Number 47. Louisiana. So West Virginia 45, Alabama 46, Louisiana 47. Let's see who's number 48. Pattern. Arkansas. How about number 49? Oh, we went out west, Nevada, and that's probably all because of Las Vegas. Just Las Vegas. That's it. Number 50. Now this might surprise you. Hawaii. Among the worst states for law enforcement.
Not surprising.
It surprised me. And the worst state in all the nation for law enforcement. Alaska. That should surprise nobody. All
There's
that light and
definitely
all
a
that dark.
trend in the bottom half.
Oh, yeah. You can come to your own conclusion. All right, now here are the best states to be a law enforcement officer according to Wallet Hub, compensation, protection of officers, that kind of stuff. Number 10. Ohio. Number 9. The state of Washington. Number 8. Tennessee. Number 7. Yeah, that's an outlier.
Yeah.
Minnesota. Derek Chauvin notwithstanding. Number 6. Colorado. Moving out west. Number 5. Maryland.
I can see that.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 4. The District of Columbia. Now, I don't know if that contains the Capitol Police and also DC Metro. I have to investigate, but that's at least including DC Metro. Number 3. Illinois. Again, this is, according to Wallet Hub, the best states for law enforcement. In other words, if you're going to work in law enforcement, this is a ranking of the best states according to Wallet Hub. And number 2 of the top 50 states plus Washington, D.C. are the best places for law enforcement to work. Connecticut. I'm seeing a trend here. I won't say it out loud, but I'm seeing the trend. And the number 1 state for law enforcement, according to Wallet Hub. Any guesses, anyone? Anyone? Bueller?
Number 1?
Number 1.
Florida.
That's right. We have not heard from Florida yet.
Yeah, Florida. Maybe Florida number 1.
Haven't heard from Texas yet either.
I would not pick Texas. I'm from Texas.
Oh, okay. All right. So we got a guest of Florida. We have a guest of Texas. Let's see. The number 1 state for law enforcement to work as a career in law enforcement is... California, here I come.
No.
Right
Wow.
back where I started from.
The best state?
Open up your golden gates. Yeah. According to Wallet Hub.
Not according to you.
Not according to me.
Are you
What
sure this isn't the Mo
criteria?
Kelly tape? Okay.
They say compensation packages, solid training that helps minimize the chances of deadly violence between officers and civilians, state level policies like red flag laws and blue alerts, and opportunity and competition rank. California ranks number 11. Law enforcement training requirements rank. California ranks number 2. And job hazards and protection of law enforcement officers ranks number 12. But overall, it's the best according to Wallet Hub. Take it for what it's worth.
Who knew?
I didn't.
I mean, when you hear all the things that everyone has to say about California.
Well, I'll put it this way. I will ask my friends in law enforcement to see what they say. Now, my friends who are in the LA County Sheriff's Department, they say now they would never do it again. In other words, I have a friend who's with Linux, and he's been a sheriff for almost 30 years, and he said it's completely changed. He would never do it now, but that's his assessment of the job itself. I don't know if he would be able to rank California versus the other states. But I do know, since the worst states were most of them down south, I'm inclined to believe every one of those states was open carry, and they're law enforcement, they're dealing with a lot of armed people. More so than in California in general. That's just my read between the lines.
Compensation seems to be a big thing in that one, too. I got the feeling that they pay people out here a lot more than they would in the South.
I just know Manhattan Beach, Southgate, and Redondo Beach. Don't ask me how I know. I just know they pay well. And Torrance as well. KFI AM 640 live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
Remember when you used to have have to have a radio to listen to KFI.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere.